Hey, your Comedy Minute. I'm Scotty T. I'm here with Bruce Lipsky. Bruce Lipsky's just said to me, "You got it, pal."
Exactly. He's in his bunker. He's in his comedy bunker over here.
You know,
That's how
I swear to you, that's what he just said to me. You got it, pal.
just hope
I
it's
felt
not
like I felt
contagious.
like I was on The Sopranos or something.
Exactly.
I'm
As
not
I said,
keeping you
yeah.
from anything, am I?
Not at all. Not at all. I just want to know
All right.
who's the
Good Lord.
wallpaper.
I thought you're gonna you're not strapping for this interview, are you? You're carrying a gun.
Not at all. Not at all. I've just
Okay,
got
all
my
right.
my natural vibes today. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah. You seem a little. All right, let's get right to it. You're in New York, is that correct?
Correct. Born and raised in New
Uh,
York City. I actually live in Long Island right now, or Long Island, as they say, right over the border.
okay,
Um, it's interesting. I live in a town called Floral Park. There's a Floral Park, Queens. There's a Floral Park, Long Island. I'm
okay.
on the Long Island side. The difference is about $5,000 worth of taxes.
Yeah, I know all about the taxes.
Yeah.
I know the answer to this question, but when did you start doing comedy?
Okay. Essentially, I started doing comedy probably around 2017, 2018, before the
Right.
pandemic.
Okay.
And, like everybody else, you got stuck when the pandemic hit. Well,
Right.
where are you going to perform? So I did a lot of stuff on Zoom.
Okay.
I turned myself a Zoomologist.
A zoomologist.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I did a lot of comedy shows, met a lot of people all around the world. It was actually
Okay.
good. I got to hone my craft. I got to, as I said, meet a lot of people, and it was great. I mean, and then once things opened up,
Okay.
try and get on stage as possible. Yeah,
Well, and I knew the answer to this question too, but I think it's really interesting. So if you could, there was a catalyst or, the reason that you started doing comedy.
yeah. There's actually a couple of catalysts. Maybe you don't know it all.
You could, hey, you can make
Uh,
up, you can make up something. I don't want to piss
no,
you off.
no, no, no,
Go
no,
ahead,
Jay.
buddy. I
Like I say,
say,
better be pissed off than pissed on,
yeah,
right?
you know it.
That's
Go
right.
ahead.
Yeah. So actually, one of the main catalysts was I was in a horrific car accident
Right.
back in about 15 years ago, and spinal injury, among other things. And I vowed if I can stand up, I'm going to do stand up comedy. Yeah.
Really?
So, yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Wow. Well,
yeah,
first
so
off, thank God you're here doing this with me today.
exactly. It
I
was a
mean,
really shitty situation, but thankfully I pulled through it. Every day is rehab. I walk with a cane, but that's not a problem,
right.
So, but another reason I got into comedy was I've I love comedy all my life, and I used to love
Right.
Rodney Dangerfield. I grew up in a family that had a lot of sarcasm in it.
Can I stop? I met Rodney.
Oh, great, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Did you ever
Um,
meet him?
I didn't meet him on a personal level. I
Okay.
thought at the club we had a little
I was going to say you
conversation, but
played well, and we'll get to that. You played at a lot
yeah,
of great clubs. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't
yeah,
mean to
yeah,
interrupt.
and that's all right. That was my bucket list actually to play at Rodney with Dangerfield,
Yeah.
because he's the man at the time, and I love the comedy. It's his
Yeah.
comedy, one-liners, and that's how my comedy. Anyway, a friend of mine used to run medical conferences and used to invite me to these conferences because she wanted to fill some seats up, and partly because she used to hire comedians.
Okay.
And one year, she hired somebody who's is nationally known, and I was fortunate enough to sit next to him at the dinner table.
Okay.
And I talked to him about getting into comedy, exchanged number, and everything was really great. And he went out and he was amazing.
Okay.
And so I thought, this guy I'm going to look up to. The next year, he was so amazing that they brought him back. And we sat together again at the table. But when
Okay.
I looked at him, something wasn't right.
Okay.
Something was off. And so he got up there and got off stage after 20 minutes. We were supposed to do 45 minutes. And
Okay.
he sat down at the table and he said, boy, this is a tough crowd. And that pissed me off because here's a guy who got paid a lot of money, had an opportunity to really, put his craft out there and entertain people. And he walked off the stage. To me, he wasn't prepared. He like mailed it in. And I was pissed off. I said, if I ever get the chance to get on stage, I'll make sure I'm never going to mail it in. And that, and that,
Hey,
and that,
I'm starting to get.
uh,
You're starting to give me that soprano vibe again. I'm
exactly.
I'm starting to feel like I better do good in this interview. You come
Uh,
kick my ass.
no worries. No worries. Don't
No, no.
worry about it.
You know what? You'll find this. I worked in the music business,
Uh-huh.
and I worked with a lot of big stars, and ZZ Top, for instance. I worked with RCA and Billy Gibbons. You talk about mailing it in. The
Uh,
end of the night, it was like he went like this, like you weren't even going to shake his hand; he would just touch you. Ooh,
we'll
ooh,
get the
Billy.
dead fish. Get the dead fish handshake,
Yeah, I
right?
thought, oh my God, yeah, no, but egos and but it's funny how to see you get that animated about it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It just bothered the hell out of me. So what I did was after that, I said, I'm going to take a comedy course.
Right.
I took something called Stand Up University, which is out Long Island,
Okay.
run by three prominent comedians. I'd never been on stage before,
You can
and
you can
so
mention them if you want. Mention
yeah,
who
sure,
who
yeah,
they are.
yeah. Stand Up University, Rich Walker, Steve Lazarus, and Peter Bales,
Okay.
excellent, excellent instructors. And it
Right.
was like a 6 week class. Five
Okay.
of those weeks, you essentially went for instruction. And the sixth week, you went and did your
Perform.
typical performance. What was neat about this class, it was supposed to
Can I
start, I believe,
interject again? Was this your first performance you ever did live? Okay,
exactly,
I could just wipe
exactly,
that one off then. Go ahead.
exactly. It's first performance live, and I'll get to that in a second. But anyway, it
Okay.
was 6 weeks, 5 weeks, and I really, really worked hard at this. A lot of people,
Okay.
it was 11 people in the class. I think at the end, maybe there was nine left. I'm not sure. Some people, they didn't try too hard. Some people took it more seriously.
Right.
I took it very seriously because I wanted
Yeah.
to learn if this is something that I love comedy, see if I can do this,
Yeah.
so it worked out really well, I thought. Well, the first night, I got up there and I didn't know what I was going to talk about. And, so he said, just talk about topics and life and things like that. So I brought up a couple of things. He said, well, this could be comedy gold. And
Yeah.
so everybody has comedy gold, you know.
Yeah.
So we went through the 6 week. In the 6 week, we go to perform, and I'm all set. I worked hard, practiced. I brought 32 people. You go to that bringer shows, all your friends and family want to come see
Right.
you. 32 people showed up. I was honored. And my sister-in-law was up there with a sign, Bruce's Comedy Posse and all this other
Right.
stuff. And I felt my brothers were there. And got up on stage and I started doing my shtick. And I worked this and worked this. And I had one routine where I said, I'm married a long time, and every time I send my wife out shopping, she never gets the list correct. I send her out for regular orange juice. She comes back orange juice with pulp.
Right.
And then I go for the next line, and I said, I froze. The line was supposed to be, I
I
send her
knew it.
out for creamy peanut butter, and
Yeah.
she brings back chunky. But I couldn't remember the word peanut butter
Yeah.
for some reason. And it was only like 3 seconds, but 3 seconds felt like 5 minutes.
Right.
I got over that hump, everything flowed really nicely, and it did was 6, 7 minutes, whatever it was. And when the performance was finished, I had one of the best compliments I ever had in my life. It was my older brother, who has since passed away. He
Okay.
came up to me and said, I've always wanted to do something like this. I never had the guts to. You were fabulous, and I have so much respect for you. And my brother was a very, very well-known physician in Long Island, very highly regarded physician. And it
Right.
was the first time that my brother ever got emotional, that I was
Yeah.
got screaming.
Well,
And
that's
he was,
wonderful.
yeah, and he was so
That's
sincere that,
wonderful.
he said, I've never been so proud of you. He
Well,
said,
you're going to find, and this is a comedy show, and I try and squeeze the humor out of it. So, and that's all wonderful. My heart got a little warm
yeah,
there if I
yeah,
had emotions,
yeah.
feelings. But I want to hear about your least favorite show.
Okay. Okay.
See,
Yes.
enough of the as my brother would say, enough of that bleeding heart bullshit.
I got to
Enough of
put that
that
shit on the
bleeding heart
side.
bullshit. And why
Uh,
don't you give me? Oh, you want to do more bleeding heart bullshit?
I'll give you two. I'll give you two least favorite shows.
Listen, I didn't. I feel like I'm dealing with Tony Soprano. I stepped up my game a little bit.
I thought no problem. I like it. I like it.
They call me Scotty T.
Okay.
Back in the day, it
Okay.
was just T. Believe it or not,
All right. All
like the
right.
Sopranos.
Okay. I like it. Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead. You
Okay.
got a couple. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we
So
inject a little humor into this thing.
absolutely, absolutely. Oh, it is a comedy show. All right. So anyway,
It's a
you know,
comedy show,
yeah,
so
when you first start out, obviously you got
right,
to do bringer shows. Well,
right,
I convinced my wife and my son
okay,
and two good friends of mine who are older than me. One is a doctor and one is his girlfriend. and a couple other people to come to Broadway Comedy Club, which I live in Long Island. They had to schlep into the city. You
Right.
know, I drove into the city,
Right.
got there, and it was an awful show. You know, one of these things where, the MC couldn't remember, coming to the stage, here's a guy I really love a lot. You've heard him before, and his name is,
He didn't know your name.
they don't know my name.
Right.
I
Okay.
love this guy. This guy's the best. I love this guy.
Yeah, I
Couldn't
love
remember
him.
my
He's the
name.
best. He's the best. What's your
Exactly.
name again there, bud?
He's the best. So anyway, we had this one comedian who was so unfunny. Nobody was reacting to it. Everybody had like,
All
their
right.
arms folded and like
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
And so
Okay.
he started picking on my friends.
All
And he
right.
said to my friend, he said something like, you got dust on your balls. And he said something else about, to the woman, saying something similar that
Oh no,
you got
no.
dust between your legs. All right,
Oh
so
no.
oh yeah, so that was number one. Number two is my wife is sitting like this, and the guy looks at her and says, "You're not laughing. How come you're not laughing?" And my wife says, "Tell me something funny."
Right.
And he says, he got pissed. He said, "I know karate."
Oh my God.
And my wife says, "Bring it on." And the guy just froze
Oh
there.
Jesus. Jesus.
Oh yeah. And then
That's wild.
they had this other guy who was a gentleman of color who started talking about rap music. And
Right.
there was maybe 12 people in the audience, and six or eight of them were my people. And my son was there, and the only one that maybe understood what rap music was my son. And my son, he goes to my son and says, "Hey, Doogie Howser, Doogie Howser, how come you're not laughing?"
Oh no.
Oh, and it was all downhill from there.
You're
So
killing me. You're
that
killing
was
me.
that, that was when my wife said, "Bring it on," I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, go,
Well,
girl, you go."
you
Yeah.
mentioned your wife and she has a dog.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
And
But there's
and the dog, if I'm right, now I the crack research team isn't what they used to be.
uh,
Fabio?
Fabio.
Fabio.
Fabio. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to
We
tell
had,
tell the people about Fabio?
okay, I'd love to. We had a cat for 23 years. Okay. After the cat passed away, my wife said,
23
"Oh,
years you had a cat.
right, the cat."
The same cat.
Right, the same cat, live. We fed it every day. We picked up after it every day. 23 years.
23 years we had a cat. Now we got a dog named
Exactly. So
Fabio.
after the cat passed away,
Fabio.
Fabio. So my wife
Not
said,
the not the not the guy, the pretty model guy, Fabio.
well, we'll get to that in a second. Hey,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No,
Hey, whoa,
that's
whoa,
not,
whoa, back her
how
down.
many
Hot
times have
rod,
I
back her
told you?
down.
I told you, Scott.
I'll come out beat you like a rented mule.
Exactly.
I'll
Exactly.
drop you like a
You'll,
bad
yeah,
transmission, buddy.
yeah, you'll be looking over your shoulder for the next three
I
weeks.
tell you, it's rough. My wife.
Exactly.
Go ahead. Let's
So
get
we got
back to the dog.
so anyways, we said, I want to get a dog. We just don't want to get any dog. We want to go to a breeder. And so we went to a breeder and spent like $3,000.
Oh my God.
All right, but when you're gonna buy, you buy the best. It's like a fine wine, So anyway, but
Three
she carries
grand.
this exactly. Carries this dog around like a Gucci handbag, right under the
Right.
armpit and everything. Except the Gucci handbag only costs 2 grand. It doesn't need to be walked 6 times a day.
Is it a little one of those little dogs?
Yeah, a little bigger, but yeah, yeah. So anyway,
A yapper.
not so much a yapper, but just it's a designer dog. That's all I have to
A
say.
designer dog, $3,000 designer dog.
Now think about this. When you were growing up,
I'm trying not to.
it's a combination of a cocker spaniel and a poodle, and they call it a cockapoo. All right.
Right?
And so when you were growing up and I was growing up, when you had two different dog breeds together, what do you call it? You called it a mutt, right?
Yeah.
Or a Heinz 57.
Heinz 57.
Right, yeah. This
But
you call
you paid
the
3 grand for Heinz 57.
designer dog, and we got to meet the parents too.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
So the parents are saying, we got to meet the parents. So anyway, so now she got this dog and she dresses him up in silk pajamas and a gold collar
Yeah.
and names him Fabio. Yeah. But I don't call him Fabio. I call him Houdini.
Really?
Yeah, because the two wags of his tail, he's made my sex life completely disappear. Yeah. And now sex is like a grand illusion, except without the handcuffs. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Scott, how would you feel? How would you perform in bed if you had a panting tongue, a wet nose, and the smell of bad breath,
Oof.
and a dog?
Oh, good Lord. She's gonna hit you. She's gonna watch this, and your wife, and then that dog, they'd be trying to sleep, and that dog, that dog, and
As,
meanwhile, she'll be walloping you.
as I say, this dog is completely taken over the bedroom. He lays on my side of the bed, on my pillow, next to my wife, snorting and farting. You know, what do you think I've
Oh
been
my
doing for the
gosh.
last 40 years? I'm afraid to kick him out of bed. I may get hit and scratched and growled at by my
You,
wife.
and also, again, the crack staff tells me
Uh,
you're getting older, your body's giving you some problems.
oh yeah, oh
Yeah, me
yeah, yeah.
too. I'm 62. I have an appointment with Social Security on my
Okay, yeah,
birthday's coming up.
okay. I'm getting closer to 70.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know. You got a few years on me.
And my
But
son
so your
said to me,
body's giving you some problems.
"Oh, a few problems." My son said to me the other day, he said, "Dad, did you know you're getting close to 70? Did you know 70 is the new 50?" Yeah. And I said, "Yeah, I heard that before." And he said, I'm in college, as you know, then graduate school. He said, my school adopted the same policy. He said, I just got a 45 on my final, my Spanish final. But don't worry, in my school, 45 is the new 80.
45's the new 45. He didn't pass.
So I said to him, I have some new philosophies in my house. Do you know that the payphone is the new iPhone?
That's good.
Then I
That's
said to
really
him,
good.
then I said, the subway is your new Subaru?
Keep them coming.
And then I said to him,
You got some more.
my homemade tacos is the new Chipotle. And he said, wait a second, Dad. It's pronounced Chipotle.
Right?
I said, looked at him and said, wait, you got a 45, I mean 80 on your Spanish line, and you're correcting me? I don't care. I don't care if it's Chipotle or Chipotle. I love the fajitas.
Oh God.
I said, I love the fajita. He said, wait a second, Dad. They're pronounced fajitas.
Just as
Yeah. So, but anyway, you
wow.
get older. Sometimes you look in the mirror. I got these crow's feet. These
Right.
lines. My doctor said my crow's feet are so bad they need orthotics. You know, I look like a rusted old '56 Buick. This body is totally shot and out of alignment.
Yeah.
My rear end is making funny
That
sounds.
mine too.
My hose leaks,
Yeah, mine too.
and my ball joints have all dried out.
Really? Well, I don't know
Somebody,
about
somebody said you need Mako. Mako says, "Oh no, you need Medicare."
Thank God I have Medicare.
That's what we all exactly. That's tough. I remember back in the day. I don't know if you used to go to the bars. You probably did.
Who
Friday night,
me?
yeah,
I
Friday night you
think I
used
was
to do.
born in a bar.
There you go. You ever do Friday night? You do Jello shots.
Well,
Yeah.
sure.
Now at my age, I do gel knee shots. That's how bad it's got. I used to go on the dance floor and go bust the move. Now I'm afraid to take my wife dancing. I
Yeah,
may bust a hip.
right.
Uh,
Let's shift gears real quick.
yeah,
Comedians that inspired you that to as the words you mentioned, Rodney Dangerfield,
right,
who you're I watched some of your stuff today and just watching you there, boom, 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 boom. You go quick and you're funny as heck.
thank you. Rodney definitely.
Besides Rodney,
Henny
yeah, Henny
Youngman.
Youngman, that's one of
I
mine.
like I like Groucho Marx. I also like
Oh
Stephen
yeah,
Wright.
Groucho Marx. Yeah,
Stephen Wright. I love Mitch Hedberg,
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Paul Phillips.
How
Those
about
guys.
let's shift gears real quick, if you don't mind.
No, I
Comedians
don't.
that you like now,
Okay, right now, as I said, I listen to a lot
and
of the
you
older
this is a
comedians.
chance for you to throw a bone to some younger comedians
Oh
or
yeah,
people
yeah.
that you really
Oh,
like
oh yeah.
locally.
We have a local guy in my town, Chris Monty. He's very
Okay.
funny. He's a local guy. He's one
See,
of my
this is the part
favorite.
where I suck up and you help me get Chris Monty on the show.
I don't know if he'd come on, but we'll see. You never know.
Well, whatever. Nah,
Yeah,
whatever. Maybe the next
yeah.
guy you mentioned.
Joe DeVito is another high level comedian.
Okay.
What I like about him, he's great on tags. I have a good friend, Art Chill, who's the
Okay.
octogenarian comedian. He's 88 years old. Uh,
Okay.
this guy, he likes the old Borscht Belt humor as well, and And I know obviously Ziggy Susser is another friend.
Okay. Yeah.
He's Elaine's friend
Well, you
also.
mentioned, I was just going to say, and we're going to get it around there. You mentioned Helene Witt, who I was
Right.
nice enough to have on the show, huge Beatles fan.
Yes.
And you said that, see, I was looking for some dirt, and we're going to get to Steve Goldberg in a second.
Okay. Okay.
But
Yes.
you made the mistake of texting me or
That's
sending
a,
me a
that's
message
okay.
that maybe you should contact, because I asked Steve, I want to get some dirt on this guy.
Right.
Steve didn't even know the name of your dog.
Okay.
So when you said about Helene, I thought, well, okay, buddy.
Right. Is
Guess
that
what, Bruce?
good?
You can now tell the story about Helene. You can spill the beans on yourself with Helene.
That's no problem at all. That's
Go
great.
ahead.
Elaine. Oh, there's so much. Well, Elaine is a good friend, and
Okay. She's
I
a
actually,
wonderful woman. Wonderful
I
woman.
just performed with her this past Friday night.
Right.
And so she's a school teacher.
Top
Or was
shelf. Top shelf.
right. Excellent person. Excellent
Yes.
person.
Yes, she is.
But we don't have too much dirt together, actually, Elaine and
Well,
I.
then
But
what the hell were you thinking? Well, you're
I,
telling me to get her. Steve wouldn't
no,
give
no,
me
no,
any.
no. Get her to tell dirt about me.
Oh, well, if you don't have much, what's she gonna? Elaine's not gonna give me anything.
Huh.
Good Lord.
A very interesting thing. I had my 65th birthday, during obviously my 65th birthday, and they did a surprise Zoom birthday show for me. And
Did they?
they got a ton of comics, and every comic that wanted it, they said, tell some dirt about Bruce. And everybody said, Bruce is too nice a guy. I don't have any dirt to tell about.
Yeah, yeah. All right, total disclosure. I asked Steve, about some dirt, and like I said, he couldn't even give me your dog. I said, "Is his dog's really named?" I don't know. They have a dog. Jesus God, Steve.
He met my dog. Steve met my
Yeah, I'm
dog. He
like,
came to my
God
house.
Almighty. But
Yeah.
no, I want to thank Steve for getting me in touch with you, man. You are. And then you mentioned Helene. I've had Tom Padovano on. Do you know
Tom,
Tom?
I love Tom. Tom and I are good
Yeah,
friends. Bob.
Tom is, he wrote jokes for Dangerfield and Joan
Okay.
Rivers and Elaine wrote,
Right. We
I'm
write
so
together a
blessed to
lot.
have, top shelf comedians on like yourself, and I'm so
Yeah,
thankful.
yeah, exactly. We said we write jokes together a lot, Tom and I, Elaine and I, my friend Ziggy. I have another friend, Bob Lopatkin, the
Okay.
orthodontist, comedian. I mean, I can give you names,
No,
names
no,
and
no.
numbers.
You don't feel just
Oh no, I'm
listen,
just
because we're
thinking that.
gonna run out of time, and I'm praying that you have a special Your Comedy Minute. That's I'm praying for that. I mean, I
Oh,
don't
well,
know. But
hey,
before we get to that, I want to make sure, because again, I'm very grateful to have you here. I mean that. But I want to make sure that we cover everything that upcoming shows, or in other words, I know you have Instagram, and basically I saw there you post stuff there. I'll put that link. You have a YouTube channel, Facebook, obviously. I doubt you do TikTok. Maybe you do. Do you do
no,
TikTok?
no, no
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't post much on social media. I've got
Right.
hacked so many times. It pissed
Did
me
you?
off. But I have a website, and it has some stuff on there as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And
any upcoming shows that you want to
yeah,
mention?
yeah. And the ironic thing, Saturday the 28th, I'll be at Rodney's. Danger,
Wow.
because Dangerfield, you may or may not know, during the pandemic closed down.
I didn't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, during the pandemic, Dangerfield closed down.
Okay.
The gist that I got out of it, because live comedy was dead for a while. Let's face it,
Yeah.
nobody was going out to the clubs. And why would you spend $25,000 a month on rent if you can't put asses in seats?
Sure. Sure.
So they unfortunately closed down. But this year they reopened again under the name Rodney's.
Okay.
I had not been there. This is my first time back to the club. So
Wow.
7:30 Sunday night, I'll be there.
Okay.
And hopefully, if anybody's listening, come on out. It should be a great show.
Okay.
Yeah, and let's see what happens.
Well, this probably won't air, for a week or two, but maybe the Time Travelers for.
It's okay. You never know. You can always go back in time and take a look and say,
I don't know. I don't know what. Again, you scare a nail out of me. You scare a nail out of me.
me,
Yeah, no, you're funny as
Mr.
heck,
Clean.
man. You are funny as heck. I had a whole bit I wanted to do about clean comedy because you do clean comedy, and we'll touch on it real quick, but I don't want to run out of time.
Right.
In other words, have you ever done, like, in other words, I've Tom, Helene, I had a
Right.
pastor on, one real quick note on that. He mentioned comedians that do dirty stuff, and they go up to him and say, so you're the one going to hell.
Right. He's
And
passionate.
he was actually really funny because he said, Scotty, you could do clean stuff, or you could. I said, have you ever watched any of my stuff? He said, no. He said, you're right. You're right. And that just cracked me up. But I was kind of curious because you do clean. Have you ever done over the course? Have you done? And I will say this: I hate to keep talking, but I watched your bit about UPS
Yeah.
and your wife ordering so many packages and stuff. And boy, there's a lot of sexual innuendos in that.
Hi. It's a lot of sexual
Your
innuendos.
delivery and daddy.
But I thought now she's paying extra for backdoor delivery.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, I was like, golly, man, there's a couple
Uh,
other ones there.
was that? I wonder if my fulfillment center is actually.
Yeah, yeah,
And then I had one at the end. I said, my wife and I share a lot of things. We love to do things together.
yeah,
Broadway shows, nice dinners. The UPS guy. Yeah.
yeah. Right, right.
Yeah.
No, and yeah, maybe hopefully you understood where I was going with
Oh
that.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I kind of can get away with that stuff because it is, like I tell a joke about, you may have heard this before. And I said, my wife and I have been together a long time. But before I met my wife, I actually dated a very famous TV weather person.
I, I,
And then I'll say, it wasn't Al Roker, but, but I remember the first time we got intimate. It was like a bad winter forecast.
yeah,
She was predicting 10 to 12. All she got was 2
it
to
was two
4.
to four. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
I
so
know
I
that one.
use that, and I say, she was expecting, a blizzard, and all she got was a light dusting.
I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I do have one joke that I curse
Okay.
in. I do have a joke that I curse in. Um,
Give it to me for God's sakes. What are
in
you
fact,
waiting for?
well, exactly. I said, my wife and I, we've been together a long time, 40 years of marriage, and I said, yeah,
Right.
everybody says marriage is a wonderful institution. I said, well, so is the Bellevue Sanitarium. Yeah. And like I said, things haven't been great around the house lately. In the bedroom, lately my sex life has been like my savings account,
Right.
very little interest.
Yeah.
And so then I said, in order to spice things up, I said to my wife, let's play some secret agent games. I said to her, you can call me James, as in James Bondage. And she said, you can call me Dr. No, as in Dr. No fucking way. Yeah. So, but yeah,
Oh my goodness.
you can call me
Oh
Pussy
my
no more.
goodness.
You can call me Pussy no more.
Wow. Wow. Just to put a little whipped cream and a cherry on that. I had just because I want you to know what you're dealing with. You just made my night. You unleashed that obscenity on me. I had the second cleanest comedian from Denver, Colorado. And you know what I said to him? I'm going to find the first cleanest comedian and I'm going to hold him down and make him curse until you are the cleanest fucking comedian.
That's it. I'm going to break this sucker down. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
because I I obviously have had Helene on, Tom on, and I can do, and be clean and neat. But yet I love, in my heart of hearts, I love real dark, dirty, nasty stuff.
Mhm.
But I am finding that stuff can get you in trouble really quick.
Oh yeah. And the good thing with me is at least I can substitute the word fucking for
Oh yeah, yeah,
friggin'
yeah.
or things
Screw
like
and
that.
yeah,
In fact, I did the show this past Friday and I didn't use the word fucking. I
yeah,
used the
yeah.
word, friggin' or
Yeah,
whatever it
sure,
is.
sure.
So
Yeah.
that's okay. But but
Well, I
you could say
apologize.
it's okay. You can lead the people in that path, but as long as you can soften the blow a little bit, still hopefully get the
Yeah,
same response,
yeah.
yeah, because
Well, it's
everybody's
just it depends. What I'm hearing from, again, some of the big comedians that are on, if you're in front of a bunch of college kids, you have to kind of spice it up a
right,
little bit.
right, of course. Like one of my favorites, Sebastian Maniscalco.
Right,
He throws out the f bombs every so often,
right.
but
Yeah,
they're placed. I'll use the
sure.
word in safe zones in the sense that
Yeah,
where he's
yeah,
coming from. They're harmless. They're not
yeah.
derogatory.
You don't
That's the
swear.
difference.
You don't swear just to swear.
try to be funny because that's not funny,
Right, right. No, I agree.
Yeah,
There was a
yeah.
young lady wanted to come on the show, and I watched her stuff, and I just it was f this, f this, f this, f this.
Oh,
I
oh,
was like,
oh, oh.
no, no, no,
Or
no.
they're like talking about private parts, and I,
Yeah,
I,
no, no,
I
no.
don't, I don't. Maybe this is extra here, but I remember a friend of mine took a comedy class and
Right,
invited me to go see him perform. And there was a performer in his group that brought his mother, grandmother, and family over there.
right.
No exaggeration. This guy spent his whole set with his back to the audience, pretending he was cranking off
Oh
in a
no,
bathroom.
no, no, no.
Yes, and his grandmother was in the audience there.
Oh man,
And I
she
said,
must have
"This
been
is
so
comedy.
proud.
Oh, this is that's my boy."
Oh God,
Right,
oh God. Well,
right.
Bruce Lipsky, I appreciate you being on, but we're going to run out of time, and you know we have to have it.
Yes, I do. We're going to
It's
do it.
time for your comedy minute, Bruce Lipsky. Your comedy minute, my friend. Let's go.
Thank you, pal. Thank you. But I
Oh,
grew
there
up
we
in
go. Hey, hey, before you go on, we started with Pal and we're going to end with
and
Pal. I
with
got to do
pal.
another
Exactly.
introduction. I love it.
This is full. This is 360
Yeah,
comedy.
man, I can feel like I went around the world in 27 minutes.
Exactly. So
Bruce
anyway,
Lipsky, your comedy
thank you.
minute. Go ahead, Pal.
Go for it. Thank you. I remember when I told you guys that I grew up in New York City, but I actually went to a public school in New York City for high school. It was called Bayside High School.
Okay.
In order to pass gym in Bayside High School, one of the requirements were that you had to take swim class.
Okay.
So when I went to the first day of swim class, I remember you going to high school, they give you a uniform, you get the top and
Yeah.
bottom. So I went up to the instructor and I said, "Where's my Speedo?" And he looked at me and said, "Speedo, how about speed? No, this is a naked swimming class.
What?
Your birthday suit is your bathing suit." So I looked at him with the same expression you had, and I said, "Gee, I'm glad you don't teach woodshop." so So imagine being 13 years old, half forced skinny dipping with all your classmates. At 13, I barely had eyebrows. Think about it. And now we got to do this naked swimming class. And remember, I back then, this was the early 1970s. I said to myself, maybe I'm shooting that pilots are naked and afraid because believe me, I was naked and very afraid.
Wait, I got to stop you. Is this true?
Honest to God, true.
Are,
You can
13
look
years
up,
and get naked in the pool with all your buddies.
yeah, all the guys, not the women, the
I was going to
guys.
say, that was
Right,
my
right.
next question.
The
Jesus
guys. And
God.
and let's keep going more. Let's
Keep
keep
going,
going more.
Bruce.
We Part of the class we had to play water polo. Imagine playing naked water
Oh,
polo. So here I am. I'm in the corner of the pool, bobbing up and down. I'm holding, and the teacher says to me, "Hey, Lipsky, protect the nets, protect the nets." I would go like this. "Hell, I'm trying to protect my nuts."
wow.
But the great thing about the class, I learned to be an excellent one-handed swimmer.
Oh, my
And in
God.
competition, I held my own. And also, it gave me a lot of confidence with the ladies,
I was going to.
especially after I learned the breaststroke behind the bleachers with my girlfriend. Yeah, this is actually
Wow.
true. Imagine trying to do that now. That no suit would equal lawsuit.
Holy moly. I don't know
Yeah,
how much of that is true.
and honest to God,
Okay.
if you look up on the Bayside High School, New York City, naked swimming.
You know what's going to happen? We're going to put this on the air and there's going to be lawsuits. I was at that school. I was traumatized ever since.
Yeah, I mean, I've met
My
people
dick's shriveled
afterwards.
up like a cocktail weenie.
In fact, we had a reunion back at the school several
Oh,
years ago,
no.
and I wanted to
You
see the
remember that
pool.
time?
Exactly, I wanted to go see the swimming pool. When I got to the swimming pool, I wanted to take my clothes off,
Oh, God.
and we had to go 7:30 in the morning. We're freezing our rear ends off. And
Oh,
let's
my.
face it, back then, as I said, I barely had eyebrows, and now I'm
Wow, Bruce. Wow. Well, listen, hey, let's make a pact. Hopefully, he'll come back and see me. I had a
I'd love it.
wonderful time.
I'd
I
love it,
really
pal.
did. Let me stop the recording so we can spend a
Okay,
minute or two off the
you
air.
got it. You got it. Thanks,
You got
folks,
it,
for
pal.
everything.
Hey,
All
you
right,
got it, pal.
and I do have clothing on. Just so you know that.
Hey, thank you for being here, Bruce. Hold on a second.